Hello, welcome again to the Daily Mishnah. So today we'll be learning Brachos. We're going to start the fifth parak and do the first two Mishnayim. And our learning should be in memory of Lenny Spodek, and let's get right into it. Okay, so the Mishnah says this is the fifth parak, the fifth chapter, the first Mishnah. We're continuing on the discussion of certain prayers, and we discussed the times for prayers in the last chapter, and certain situations in which one could recite a shortened version of the prayer and things like that. So we're going to continue our discussion on prayer, and this is how the Mishnah starts. In omdin litpal al mitoch kol v'rosh. One should not get up to pray the Shemona Esrei, which is the main component of prayer, the 18 blessings, the 19 blessings, unless he is in a state of awe. What is the state of awe? I mean, it describes it as kol v'rosh, like a heavy head. So some interpretations regard this as like humility, like you have a heavy head, like you're kind of you're humble in the face of God. And other commentators translate this as like submission and like trepidation and seriousness, because you're speaking to the God of the world, the master of the world. So it's you should come in with a feeling of trepidation, of awe, like something like that. And you shouldn't just come in like I'm having a nice conversation. It should be a certain sense while you're talking to God. Okay. So the pious men of early generations used to prepare themselves for an hour before beginning to pray. So they would what would they do? They would clear their minds. These righteous people would clear their minds, spend this time clearing their minds of everyday activities and everyday and their happenings of every day, and they would like clear their minds, and so kedei sheyichavnu et libam lamakom. So they would direct their thoughts totally to God. Totally the omnipresent, right? So they would totally immerse themselves in the service of God and remove all earthly activities and things like that, and just dedicate their whole thoughts and their whole minds to God. And it's interesting. We should take this as like a certain not that we should prepare ourselves for an hour, but we should kind of take this as like something to like look up to, that like these people prepare themselves for long amounts of time so that they would be so concentrated when speaking to God and when approaching Him. And so let's continue. This is just certain laws about tefillah, about prayer. Afilu hamelach shoal bishlomo. Even if a king would initiate a greeting. This is your lo yishivenu. One should not respond to the greeting while you're in the prayer, while you're in the 18 blessings, the Shemona Esrei, the 19 blessings. Even if a king would initiate a greeting to you, one's not supposed to respond. This is obviously assuming that the king is a Jewish king or of that kind of sort that wouldn't be offended if you wouldn't respond, if he understands that you're praying. So if there is a concern of life, one is allowed to break this law in order to live, in order to fulfill many more mitzvot of Shemona Esrei, if he's to be able to break this one law. So the thing is that this is concerning it's not a life and death situation, and and lo yafsi. So so afilu nachash karuch al akivo. Even if a snake is upon his ankles, is approaching his legs. This is obviously referring to a snake that doesn't usually bite or doesn't usually cause harm, or it's not life-threatening, just like an annoyance, like some kind of snake or bug or something like that. Lo yafsi. One should not like request for help or ask for help. There are certain situations in which if it's really a bother, one is allowed to walk, because that's not considered the same type of a separation as like talking, but still one shouldn't interrupt, even if there's like a snake on his legs. So he's allowed to shake the snake off his foot, but he's not allowed to request for help. And so that is the end of the first Mishnah. We'll continue on to the second Mishnah. So the second Mishnah is discussing that there are certain additions to the Shemona Esrei, to the main component of the prayer, that we say at certain times of year. Certain times of year, we need certain things. For example, at certain times of year, we need rain. Rain is a beneficial thing. We know that some countries, they don't get rain, and there's drought, and there's throughout the country, it's really not so good. They have a lack of water, and so there are certain times when we pray for water. There's certain times that we add additions. For example, at the end of the Shabbos, at the end of the Sabbath, we make something called a havdalah, a separation between the holy and mundane. So the Mishnah will discuss that. So we remember the powers of the rain, the bracha of Tchiyat HaMetim, and the blessing of the resuscitation of the dead. So what does this mean? So it means that there's a certain prayer that we say. It's Mashiv HaRuach HaMoreh Geshem. We say that God is the one who makes the wind blow and the rain fall. And this is said in the Shemona Esrei, in the main component of the prayer, and it's not a request for rain. It's not asking God to grant us rain. It's just it's recognizing that He is the one who provides rain. So the appropriate place for that to belong is in the first three blessings of the Shemona Esrei, the main component of the prayer, and that would be the first three blessings discuss praising God. So in that section, we say this request at certain times of year when rain is needed, and we describe God as the one who provides rain. And this is stated in the blessing of resuscitation of the dead. There's a fundamental concept of Judaism that we believe that when the Messiah comes, that the dead will be resuscitated, and there's many individuals who will come back to life. This is it's a very interesting concept. There's many details that we don't even know about, and so that's the concept. And so it belongs here is because in this blessing we also discuss like God is the one who, for example, wakes up the sleeping ones. When one's asleep, he's in a state of unconsciousness, and when you're in a state of unconsciousness, you're not on the same level as like someone who's totally awake and alive, and like not alive, it wasn't the right word, but like someone who's like vibrant and awake. So in this sense, God is also the one who wakes us up. We need certain chemicals and certain processes in our body need to be so specific that in order for us to wake up, like these little things that we don't even realize. So we discuss it here because also when God provides rain, it's as if He's giving life to the plants. So that's where we add the praise for God, who's the one who provides rain. So let's continue. And we ask for rain. This is a different request. That's v'tein talamot le'bracha. We ask God to provide us with rain. This is different from the praise that God is the one who provides rain. This is actually asking God for rain, and we say this blessing. We say this request in the blessing of Birkat Hashanim of the years. This blessing discusses certain like sustenance. We ask God for sustenance, and this is an additional form of sustenance because the rain is really the source for all food. It's the source of the food chain, and it's needed for our sustenance throughout the year. So let's continue. And we also we say the Havdalah prayer, the separation between Shabbos, the Sabbath, or holidays, and the mundane, any regular day. And when do we say that? We say it in the prayer of God is the one who graces men with understanding. So this is the first blessing. The blessing, the Shemona Esrei, the main component of our prayer, is different on the weekdays and on the Shabbos and the Sabbath. There's different ideas we discuss in each of them. So on the weekday prayer, the first prayer of the weekday, the first weekday blessing is Choni Adat, the one who God is the one who graces men with understanding, and that this is the place where we should enter, where we should add our request for our kind of recognition that God is the one who separates between holy and mundane, the Shabbos or the holidays, and additionally He separates between the holy and the mundane, right? So over here, that's where we add this request, this acknowledgement. And we add it here also because we need understanding in order to differentiate between the holy Monday, and that's why we add it here. Also, it's the first blessing of the weekday. So Rabbi Kiva Omer, so Rabbi Kiva's different view. Omra bracha revi'i bifnei atzma. So Rabbi Kiva says, no, this is actually, this blessing of Havdalah, of separation, is actually its own blessing. So that's Rabbi Kiva's view. And Rabbi Eliezer Omer behoda. Rabbi Eliezer says that we actually we actually state this this separation between the holy and mundane in the Thanksgiving blessing at the end of the Shemona, so towards the end. And this is because he holds that we thank God for giving us the Shabbos, for giving us the Sabbath, this time to rest from all our weekday work, and we thank God, and we thanking Him for separating for us a holy place and between the holy and mundane, and that's actually the appropriate place for Him. So the halacha is the way we follow now is that we actually put it in who graces man with understanding. God is the one who graces man with understanding. That's the way we hold. But these are the three opinions of where we should put the Havdalah, the separation, and that is the end of the second Mishnah. Thanks again for joining us again for the daily Mishnayot, and where our learning should be for Lenny Spodek, and thanks again for joining and watching these videos. Have a great day and a great Shabbos.